Anyway, so welcome back to the Ramble here on Great Scott Marcus at Ramble Entertainment. This is part 2 of our 4-part episode 16. I'm Scott and that one's Mark. Here we're going to be rambling a bit about Gawker and what the fuck happened to them, thank God. And then we're going to talk about things that we're hyped for. Mark, Gawker.
I'm going to let you start this one.
Yeah, this one was my ramble that I wanted to bring up, and I want to bring it up because Gawker completely threw their morals out the window. And that's really all it comes down to. Back in, I believe it was 2012. Even before that, Gawker just started outing.
They've been like a muckraking site for a while.
They basically became a really shitty tabloid that was just almost attacking people's private lives for no reason.
They make TMZ look good.
Yeah, like Anderson Cooper. They were just like, he's gay. And it's just like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper isn't out there like, fuck the gays, you know, like they're ruining our society, blah, blah, blah. No, he was just reporting and doing really good at it. And then Gawker's just like, oh, he gay. And then they did that with the one Fox News host, the black gentleman. I don't know his name. Damn it. I had it like just before this. I was just like Anderson Cooper and this guy and Peter Thiel. And then I forgot the fourth one too. But Peter Thiel is basically what it comes down on. And there are two sides to this, and we're going to talk about both sides to this. Peter Thiel, they outed, who was basically this CEO, and didn't even matter. It didn't even matter that, you know, like, this guy is gay. Like, it had nothing to do with anything. And then
it's worth noting that he's also a successful. I don't know exactly what he is, but he's a billionaire.
He's a super successful CFO or CEO and a billionaire. But that doesn't matter. This guy was not. Again, he wasn't coming out and he's being like, you know, the gays are awful. He wasn't
doing anything. He was just spending money on his own business. And they're like, he's gay.
Yeah, and then they also did the same thing to Condé Nast. And Condé Nast, this was the fourth guy, and basically where they finally started to realize, oh my God, Peter Thiel is trying to ruin us, and that was through Hulk Hogan, and so Condé Nast, who also just in his private life was gay, you know, they just decided to out, and it's just like, why? Like this man. It wasn't hurting anyone. Yes, he had a family, he had a wife, and this was with a prostitute. However, this is the man's private life. And unless, like, there was something where it's just like all prostitution is bad and anybody who is seeing a prostitute should be outed, which still that shouldn't happen. Like they just decided to out this guy, probably ruined his family. That should have been something that he should have been able to attend to privately if he so chose, but that again is a person's privacy. So Gawker kind of threw their morals out the window. Peter Thiel decided to sue them into the ground, and he won by backing Hulk Hogan, who Gawker also was just like, oh, we have a sex tape of Hulk Hogan, which is totally a thing that just like
who cares?
Shitty people on the internet do with like Paris Hilton and other people, and you know, like the fappening, those people who hacked into celebrities' phones to get nudes of them. That was also really shitty. And so Gawker apparently decided to join their ranks and did the same thing. And so basically,
I was gonna say, apparently what basically happened was that like Peter Thiel didn't have enough on Gawker to actually sue them, so he just kind of like waited on it, and then he funded Hulk Hogan's actual lawsuit, which kind of gave Hogan.
Oh, and he was funding other lawsuits too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, he sued them into bankruptcy, and then I forget who bought Gawker umbrella, because there's
Telemundo, Univision. Telemundo.
Yeah, Univision, actually, I believe. And they bought the umbrella, but chose not to take Gawker, the flagship. And the thing I want to really highlight about this, there's again two sides to this. The thing I really want to highlight about this is the fucking idiocy of the people at Gawker, the readers who didn't abandon ship when they should have after all this bullshit, and the editors and writers who lamented the flagship sinking. And I want to bring this up because it really highlights either the lack of information that people have, or just this broader, like, people will listen to what they want to listen to. Gawker was good, and it's such a shame that this is happening, that a billionaire who, was jilted got to sue us into the ground. No, like, Peter Thiel did the right thing. And that's the other side to this. That is the other side of the overly large coin. Is that billionaires? So here's the other problem, and like you can look at Melania Trump with this. There might be a chance that Melania Trump was an escort back when. We don't know. We don't know. But it was on the media sources, the media outlets who had this source that was telling them this, to double check this and to dig deep and to make sure, if they chose to post this, that it might be true. It might be. We don't know yet. It will probably be.
Find out this sometime soon, I'm sure.
It might be. And the thing is, will it be okay for the Trump family to try to sue these media outlets into the ground? As far as Gawker is concerned, as far as I'm concerned about Gawker, and I believe I speak for you on this as well, good.
Yeah, I mean, one can definitely argue that Gawker had this coming to him. Like, it's basic karma, essentially. Even if you believe in karma or not, like, they just... they sling mud and try to bring down people for no reason, and for them to go down, that's a point for the people on that one.
Journalistic integrity is not subjective. It is morally objective. We know this is another thing that has been around for decades. Know your source, check your sources, be moral about what you are presenting to the public. It should be news. It should be newsworthy. It should help the public. There is nothing helpful about telling people that other people are gay.
Yeah, or here's this guy's sex tape. Like, who gives a shit? I'm sure people do care, but like they're not.
That doesn't help the public.
Yeah. But the other side of this, obviously, like you had said, like this is a huge double-edged sword, because just the idea of a billionaire being able to fund another lawsuit, which I believe could possibly be may not have anything to do with that other person. Like, I don't see why that wouldn't be possible, and that's kind of very frightening at this point.
It is, and it should be taken on a case by case basis in my mind so far, because
that's
it's
like hard to do with government precedent.
Was right. Like, too bad. Like, too bad if you liked Gawker. Like, you should also understand that, like, these people have lives that are being upset and imbalanced, and just possibly even ruined in places.
Just because you're a celebrity or you're rich doesn't mean you aren't entitled to your own private life to stay private.
And that is kind of like a thing about our own society that we really need to start looking at better. Where it's just like a singer was killed in Florida because she's popular, and there was someone obsessive that couldn't get enough of her, and like people showing up to PewDiePie's house. And like not knowing that is dumb. Like, that don't show up to someone's house. It's his place. It's his domicile. It's his place of peace. Like, oh man,
that's wrong. Like just respect someone's privacy. And Gawker just never did that.
Exactly.
But I guess like what I'm afraid of is just like the idea of basically $1 billion company or person being able to
drowning under legal fees.
Exactly. And what's even scary about this, as you brought up the whole Trump thing, is from what he has said previously about media and saying bad things about him, like, would he be able to drown out some of these other medias? But I think on the other side of that, we've got a number of other billionaires that would probably keep that from happening.
Happily,
I would hope so, at least.
At the very least. So, like, happily. So, like, this actually kind of even happened on YouTube, where, like, one of the very popular YouTubers was being sued. And, like, people who didn't even like that person's channel were donating to a GoFundMe to basically keep that channel afloat under the legal fees of this person who was choosing to sue them, because they recognize that that is not okay. Like, that you look at Late Night Tonight with John Oliver. Last Night Tonight with John Oliver.
Last week tonight.
Thank you. Was gonna land on it eventually.
Slowly but surely.
He has done really well with pointing out, like, all of the Trump lawsuits that have just been, like, the judges looked at and they were just like, no, get out, and they literally threw out the cases. Like there was a book that was an expose on Donald Trump that Trump didn't like, about, like, how much debt he was in, and it's just like, at the very least, like. So, wading into politics now, my mom, it's an easy...
You got so much shit in your head right now, you're just trying to get it all out at once. Just take a hammer, hit it, and just birds are going to fall out.
I'm going to lose my mind here in one of these days coming up. So, an easy thing to say, like my mom said the other day, politics is corrupt.
Yes.
But, no. Like, no, that is... or are you saying, like, it's an easy thing to say, or it is?
I believe a lot of politicians are corrupt.
See, I think they're... a lot of it depends on your definition of corruption. I think a lot of it is games, and these people are really good at playing political games, and... some of it is crap. Yeah, some of it is crap, and then some of it is corruption. But no, I disagree that all politics is corrupt. This is kind of like the concept of the Yeti and Loch Ness and all that. As soon as we got cameras everywhere and everybody started carrying a camera and a recorder on them, like, all of ghosts and all of this stuff was just like, it's not really real. Like, it's not real. And you look at, like, the Italian, I believe the Italian president only, like, last year was outed for being corrupt. And then, and then we have the NSA leak through Snowden. And it's just like, this stuff just comes out so easily, and yet you see our politicians getting caught with it too. But then, like,
Anthony Weiner,
exactly, and it's just like, this stuff just comes out. It happens because it's so easy to catch. Yes, I'm sure there is still corruption, but, like, our judicial system is clearly standing as being very prone to not being corrupt. Like, the one judge who ruled on the kid who raped the girl is now no longer even handling cases like that, because it was just so brought out in the fucking spotlight. And it's just like, I think that judges,
Brock Turner case.
Yeah, like, judges, we have a good judicial system, and it's standing. And, like, even though people don't like it, like, our political system, while probably somewhat corrupt, is not really that bad. And it still needs a rework.
I would say it's just like a basis of, like, moral corruption. Like, you can have your ideals and your beliefs. And then someone shoves enough money at you, you're going to turn back on that, and I believe that's a
unfortunately corruption. That has become a part of the game, and I think that's why we need Democracy 2.0. But I look at things like judges just looking at what Trump brings up, like Trump assault, fucking lambasting that one judge, that one Mexican judge. Everybody was just like, no! And he didn't get anywhere with it. He found no traction, nothing to stand on. And, like, here with Gawker, I just feel like this is another example of where people were like, yes. But there were still those who just didn't fucking get it. People who I really hate, putting people in groups, because I hate it when people do that to me. But, like, people who are almost Trump-like minded, where it's just like, oh man, like they're just pissy and they're pussies and like, no, you abandon your morals and you need to realize that,
right?
Like, gotta hate it.
Well, I think does that close that one off?
For me, it does.
I don't really have any other clothing statements.
Closing
statements about Gawker. I think I've said
the shirt at Kohl's.
Yeah, I don't know where I got the shirt. I've had it for a while, and I wore it last night. I'm wearing the same clothes I wore last night, by the way.
I do that all the time.
I'm dirty as fuck right now.
Anybody who is against that, start wearing your clothes more. Stop wasting water.
As discussed, I look fantastic today, so I don't care.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if I'm including that part. Anyway, so...
It's okay. The world can know I'm in love with myself a little bit. Hypetrain!
Cooling down from Gawker, and everything that kind of centers around that in our society. Mark, what are you hyped for?
Couple things this week. One, Apple's event on the 7th, which is Wednesday, which is a bizarre day for Apple.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right?
iPhone 7. That's the same day as the PlayStation event.
Is it really? God damn it!
And that might be on PlayStation. Like, if Apple had this plan for a while, and if it's also during the afternoon, PlayStation's is in the evening. But
it's 10 Pacific is the time.
10 a.m. or p.m.
10 a.m. Pacific, so 1 p.m. our time Eastern.
Okay, then it's not a big deal, but Apple still does that, where, like, they do their thing on E3, and it's just like, guys.
Shit. I'm pretty sure it's on the 7th.
Yeah, that's the same day as the PlayStation event.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm excited about that, just because I'm a mild Apple fanboy. Let's see what the iPhone 7 is really going to be about. Will I get one? No, because I still have my 6S for another contract. The full release of iOS 10 and Mac OS Sierra, which would be pretty good. I've been using them now for both about a month. No real problems.
I can't help but ask, like, from a gamer's perspective, when there is a release for a game, like, it is... I almost want to call it monumental by comparison to, like, the release of an OS in my mind. I'm curious where you stand on this, because, like when I think of an OS releasing, I'm like, cool, another buggy version that you'll have to wait months on to really see any real improvements.
There's a lot to unpack here, I think. I think years ago, back in, like, let's say, like, Mac OS, like, 10.2, like, when OS X came out, which is OS 10 came out, like, that was huge at the time. Huge interface change, blah, blah, blah. And then up until probably 10.6, those were all really big updates for Apple, mostly because they actually still cost money. You had to buy the update. And at that time, I don't believe they were coming out with updates every year. It wasn't until about 10.5, I believe, and then
they
10.6,
really
10.7,
push updates.
And now they've been turning them out once every year. It seems like, is another update, which sadly we're all kind of used to. So now they're going to be doing that for who the fuck knows how long. So yeah, I think they were a big thing then, especially for Apple. I would say Microsoft's are kind of big still.
Almost like once every 3 years, but
yeah. So I'd say those are still kind of big, but they're kind of like
between Vista and 7 or 8. Between Vista and 8, I think people are just kind of like very tacit towards what Microsoft does. That and the fact that they pushed 10 way too hard. Where they were forcing installs and then they got sued. And yeah,
but I also think as of lately, stemming back around to Apple's releases, they've been better since they've been doing the public betas. I remember, when 10.6 and 10.7 kind of just first came out, it was buggy. They had updates almost immediately. Now they've got developer betas and public betas, which I do the public betas. And in these public betas, I see some of these bugs get ironed out. I actually reported a bug, and I got an email from Apple saying that it's been fixed in the newest build. So good job, Apple. I was happy to see that I've reported bugs and they get noticed, which is cool. So I think, it's kind of weird. It's not as monumental now, but I feel like as compared over the past 5 years, they've been more stable overall in general.
I just can't help but, so when an update for a game comes out, I'm just like, I want to use it. I want to be immersed in it. I want to know what is exciting about these updates that gets Apple users so enthused. Is there a feature that you just want to play with, or what is it?
Usually it seems like with these different updates, there's always something that really kind of draws a point home. Mac OS Sierra is including some Siri, which I'm not excited about. I don't use Siri on my phone even, but it's just, I think that's one of their drawing points. It's just like, hey, we have Siri now on Mac, and they rehauled messages for iOS 10 as compared to iOS 9. That's two things coming to my brain right now. But I feel like every year there's always something that is huge. Like Maps got overhauled too. Notes got overhauled. Music still not great, but overhauled. So to be honest, I'm not as excited about the operating systems because I've been using them for over a month now. What the fuck was that? Someone's muffler is about to fall off their car. But I am excited to see what the iPhone 7 is actually bringing. And I think some of that excitement comes from all these rumors that we get throughout the past year saying, oh, it's going to have 2 lenses. Oh, it's going to be waterproof. Oh, it's going to cure AIDS,
Yeah.
Just I want to see what exactly they have been doing, and is it worth the hype? And I'll be the first to tell you if it's underwhelming. I'll tell you if it's underwhelming.
I just really I can see people playing with Siri and getting around those things, and maybe if it has really cool app support, like Adobe has Adobe Go on the phone or some shit like that, which they don't, but if stuff like that, somebody who's very hands-on like I am, I miss that perspective. Just I can't see it. So
well, I think with gaming too is that's 3 years in development, and in that time frame technology evolves, and maybe you don't see that technology in front of you, but under the hood stuff, and then in that 3-year development, then that game really implements that stuff, and you can actually see that improvement, and it's vast compared to the previous game.
But it'd be still for me when I see it, it's just okay, you improved the PlayStation menu. It's just kind of all right, neat. That's not what I'm here for.
Sure.
But it's still market improvements, and I get that. It's just that, and maybe that's just not me. But I do want to over the course of probably our next recordings, I think I might want to hear more about this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Since the events this week, I'm sure next week or come Wednesday, Thursday, you'll be like, any rambles? I'll be like, Apple's event.
Okay.
So I'm sure I'll have something to say about that, whether it's positive or negative. We'll see, but I'm sure I'll be wanting it to be a bit of a ramble. So yeah, that's one excitement thing. What was the other thing I was excited about?
Well,
college football.
Well, we'll get to that in the topic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. But
I
don't remember what it is off the top of my head. So fuck it, your turn.
Well, since it got brought up, the PlayStation event is this week. I wasn't oh my god, I need the PlayStation Slim or the PlayStation Neo right now, but either a bad software update has been affecting me, or I have possibly used this PlayStation into the ground. So I might be coming up on a time here where I might be looking at a replacement. So it happens. I've used it a lot. It's really kept me occupied on some really painful days and on some not so much painful days too. And we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. So that's kind of not as much hype.
I'll be paying attention to that as well. I'm curious to see, what the Slim and Neo, what those are going to offer. I'm probably not going to get either one because at this point my PS4 is still working fine. But
yeah,
I'm still interested in that technology and
so
hardware.
We're also coming into fall, and for me, actually, I'll kind of talk about that in the thing too, the main topic.
The topic,
but. I'm super, and I'll talk about this more too. I'm pumped for Titanfall 2. I loved Titanfall, and the only thing about that game that was lacking was the after endgame, like after you reach the final level, like the prestige. It was just very lacking from the guys who actually made the original Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. I really wanted a lot more out of that, and they said, that's what they're expanding on in this one. So I think it's going to be phenomenal. I will still wait to make sure that it's phenomenal before I purchase into it. But even if you or our friends don't buy into it, I will still get it and enjoy the crap out of it. So yeah, you want to go ahead and move into the topic?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. We'll see you guys in the main topic. Thanks for watching.